Did you know that in some parts of the world, marriage isn't just a matter of love, but also of money? Today, we're uncovering shocking truths about countries where you can buy your wife for as little as $35. Yes, you heard that right. We'll explore how cultural and economic factors shape this practice and why it still exists in these regions today. Plus, stick around for a surprising bonus fact about an unexpected country and its unique marriage traditions. You don't want to miss this. Before we begin, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you never miss out on more jaw-dropping content like this. Ready? Let's dive in. Our journey begins in Egypt, a country known for its ancient history, but where modern poverty still plays a significant role in the lives of many families. Reuters noted that the poverty rate here is staggeringly high, with over 60% of the population struggling to make ends meet. This harsh economic reality has led to an unsettling practice: temporary marriages. In rural parts of Egypt, foreign men from Gulf countries visit with the intent to marry young Egyptian women. These marriages are often seen as a financial transaction, with dowries reaching up to $2,000. Families desperate for financial relief agree to these arrangements, knowing full well that the marriage will only last as long as the man remains in Egypt. Once he leaves, the marriage dissolves, often leaving the women behind with no stable future. These temporary marriages offer little emotional fulfillment or long-term stability for the women involved, but for many families, the immediate financial gain outweighs the future hardships. Next, we head to Vietnam, where the bride price tradition is still alive in certain rural areas. Unlike Egypt, 99brides.net reported that the price of a bride here can be as low as $30 to $50, particularly in isolated communities. For families living in remote regions, marrying off a daughter can help improve their financial situation. In Vietnamese culture, these transactions are deeply rooted in tradition, especially in ethnic minority groups. However, as international marriage markets grow, more Western men are showing interest in Vietnamese brides. These women are praised for their nurturing qualities and strong family values, making them highly sought after for marriage. Despite the low dowries, the financial commitment for Western suitors can be much higher when you consider travel expenses, matchmaking services, and the cost of maintaining a long-distance relationship. In Bulgaria, particularly within the Kalderash Roma community, an annual event known as the Gypsy Bride Market is held in the town of Stara Zagora. This market is a vivid blend of cultural tradition and economic necessity, where young girls, sometimes as young as 16, are presented to potential suitors. The mothers also accompany their daughters, who dress in festive mood. The mothers feel proud of the fact that their daughters have reached that age in which they were successfully able to comply with the traditions of their society. One could also see gold ornaments flashing from far away. On this day, the Kalaidzes conduct a set of complex negotiations to finally settle on a bride price that leads to a marriage. Girls are often dressed in their finest clothes and adorned with jewelry to attract higher offers. According to ADN Global Affairs, virginity plays a major role in determining a bride's price, with families willing to sell their daughters for as much as $7,500. However, the reality for many of these young brides is far from a fairy tale. They are often pulled out of school by the 8th grade to prevent them from being kidnapped, leading to a higher rate of illiteracy among these women. The tradition is controversial, but for the Kalderash Roma, it's a way to preserve cultural values while securing financial stability for the family. In South Africa, the dowry, known locally as lobola, often involves cattle as a form of payment. Cattle have long symbolized wealth and status in rural South African communities, and men are expected to offer several cows in exchange for a bride. While this practice has modernized somewhat, with cash payments becoming more common, many studies noted that this symbolic exchange of cattle still persists. The price of a cow can range from $14 to $420, depending on local customs and the bride's perceived value. In some cases, families can demand up to 10 cows, making the cost of marriage substantial. Despite this traditional form of dowry, the influence of urbanization and Western culture is gradually shifting the way marriages are arranged in South Africa. But in rural areas, the dowry system remains a key part of the marriage process. If you're finding this journey through marriage markets fascinating, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us keep bringing you these amazing stories from around the world. Now, let's continue with more eye-opening facts. China's infamous one-child policy, which was enforced for decades, has created a severe gender imbalance, particularly in rural areas. There are millions more men than women, making it extremely difficult for Chinese men to find wives. As a result, many have turned to the illegal trafficking of women from Vietnam. Traffickers lure Vietnamese women, usually from impoverished or rural backgrounds, with promises of well-paying jobs. Once they arrive in China, these women are often forced into marriages with men who have paid around $2,600 to secure a bride. These marriages are anything but consensual, and the women often find themselves isolated and without legal rights in their new homes. Human trafficking remains a serious problem in this region, and despite international outcry, the practice continues due to the deep-rooted gender imbalances in Chinese society. India, a country rich in cultural heritage, is also home to some shocking marriage customs. In certain impoverished regions, families marry off their daughters for dowries as low as $35. For many of these families, marriage is more about survival than love or tradition. This practice is particularly common in rural areas where economic desperation is the driving force. The dowry system in India has long been criticized for its negative impact on women, treating them as commodities rather than individuals. The low dowry price reflects the challenging socioeconomic conditions that many Indian families face. Although modernization is slowly influencing Indian marriage customs, this practice continues in many regions where poverty remains a significant barrier to progress. Myanmar, known for its beautiful landscapes and rich culture, is another country where bride prices play a significant role in marriage arrangements. The cost of a bride here can range from $3,000 to $13,000 depending on the family's social and economic standing. Online matchmaking services have made it easier for foreign men to meet and marry Myanmar women, turning traditional marriage practices into modern transactions. While many of these marriages are voluntary, some involve deception and coercion, with women being sold to men in foreign countries under the pretense of a better life. The practice highlights the tension between modernity and tradition in Myanmar, as the country grapples with its place in an increasingly globalized world. Finally, we arrive in Malaysia, a country where the marriage market has become a symbol of luxury. Here, finding a bride can cost anywhere from $4,800 to $5,400. Malaysian women, often viewed as exotic beauties with traditional values, are highly sought after by foreign men. In this country, love and money often go hand in hand. Marriage is not just a romantic union, but also a financial investment. The costs associated with marrying a Malaysian woman, from dowries to lavish ceremonies, reflect the country's growing economy and its increasingly cosmopolitan culture. For those willing to pay the price, marriage in Malaysia promises a blend of tradition and modernity, where family values still hold strong, but financial stability is equally important. And now, as promised, here's the bonus fact. Did you know that in South Sudan, bride prices are still calculated using cattle? In this East African country, a man must offer several cows, sometimes over 100, to marry a bride. Cattle are considered a sign of wealth, and the more cows a man offers, the higher his status in the community. It's an age-old tradition that has endured despite the country's political and economic challenges. And there you have it, the incredible and often shocking reality of how marriage and money intersect in different parts of the world. If these stories left you speechless, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating content. Click on the video on your screen now to learn about life in Sweden, a land of extremely beautiful women and fantastic nature. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.